You're about to explore the only country on Earth named after a woman, Saint Lucia. But don't let the name fool you. This place is tough, poetic, volcanic, and full of stories waiting to erupt. From chocolate plantations and rainforest parrots to Nobel laureates and gold medal sprinters, we've uncovered 16 mind-blowing truths you won't find on travel brochures. Only real facts, real history, and real St. Lucian magic. Let's get started. Please note that I may not have access to unlimited video or photo footage from St. Lucia, so some visuals are used for illustrative purposes only. I always aim to deliver the most engaging and informative content possible, even when resources are limited. I hope you understand and enjoy the video just the same. Fact 1. The Pitons, St. Lucia's twin giants. Towering over the turquoise waters of the Caribbean, Gros Piton and Petit Piton are St. Lucia's most iconic landmarks, and with good reason. These two volcanic spires rise dramatically from the sea near the town of Soufrière, resembling giant emerald pyramids piercing the sky. Gros Piton stands at about 2,500 feet, while Petit Piton slightly trails at around 2,440 feet. Though technically not identical twins, their sheer beauty and symmetry have made them an unmistakable symbol of the island. The surrounding Pitons management area is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where coral reefs below meet tropical rainforests above. At sunrise, golden light bathes the peaks in a mystical glow, and by sunset, clouds curl around their tips like nature's crown. Climbing them is no easy feat, especially Petit Piton, which is steep and less regulated, but the views are soul-stirring. These majestic mountains are more than geological marvels. They are sacred to St. Lucians, deeply rooted in local folklore and pride. When visitors think of St. Lucia, it's usually the image of these two ancient volcanic guardians that burns into memory, and for good reason. Fact 2. The world's only drive-in volcano. In the steaming heart of St. Lucia lies one of the rarest natural curiosities in the Caribbean, a dormant volcanic crater you can literally drive into. Known as Sulphur Springs, this bubbling geothermal area sits just outside the town of Soufrière and boldly claims the title of the world's only drive-in volcano. As you descend into the crater by car, the landscape shifts from tropical green to eerie gray. Steam hisses from the ground, bubbling mud pools churn like cauldrons, and the air carries a pungent scent of sulfur that stings the nostrils but excites the senses. Geologists believe this collapsed volcanic caldera is around 300,000 years old, though the last minor eruption happened back in the year 1766. Despite the ominous setting, the volcano is considered dormant and safe for visitors. Wooden walkways guide you across the mineral-stained terrain, where boiling springs reach up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Locals and tourists alike flock to nearby mud baths, slathering themselves in warm, silky gray clay said to have healing properties. After a rinse in the nearby Torail waterfall, visitors leave with soft skin and memories of walking through Earth's simmering belly. It's not just a geological wonder, it's a full sensory experience. The volcano doesn't just dominate the landscape, it defines St. Lucia's raw, untamed character. Fact 3. Soufrière, the town built on fire. Few towns in the world can say they sit directly on the rim of a volcanic crater, but Soufrière wears that badge with pride and a bit of steam. Nestled in the southwest of St. Lucia, Soufrière is both a historic settlement and a geological marvel. Its name, borrowed from the French word for sulfur, literally means sulfur in the air, and the town lives up to it. On warm days, wisps of volcanic vapor drift across rooftops and narrow streets, giving the place an almost mystical aura. But beneath its colorful colonial buildings lies a sleeping beast, the same active geothermal system that powers the Sulphur Springs. Founded in the 18th century by French colonists, Soufrière was once the capital of the island and home to grand plantations and wealthy estates. Today, it's a humble but spirited town of just a few thousand people, where history, culture, and volcanoes collide. Just beyond its edges, trails snake into the rainforest, leading to waterfalls, botanical gardens, and thermal springs. The contrast is stark. Lush greenery melts into white ash fields, and the sound of birds is often interrupted by the hissing of steam vents. Soufrière is more than a scenic stop. It's the beating, bubbling heart of St. Lucia's natural heritage. Here, life coexists with the Earth's ancient fire, and the people wear that legacy with calm defiance and deep reverence. Fact 4. The St. Lucia parrot, nature's feathered jewel. High in the misty cloud forests of St. Lucia lives a bird so rare, it exists nowhere else on Earth. The St. Lucia Amazon parrot, affectionately known by locals as the Jaco. This stunning creature, with its vibrant green body, cobalt blue forehead, and flashes of red and yellow on its wings, is more than just a tropical beauty. It's the island's national bird and a symbol of survival. Found only in the dense rainforest canopies of St. Lucia's mountainous interior, particularly in the Millet Bird Sanctuary. The Jaco once teetered on the brink of extinction. In the 1970s, habitat loss and hunting pushed the species to fewer than 100 individuals. But thanks to one of the Caribbean's most successful conservation campaigns, their numbers have rebounded to several hundred today. These parrots nest high in old trees, cackling and screeching in pairs as they soar through the green canopy in search of fruit, seeds, and flowers. Spotting one in the wild is like stumbling on a living gem. It's rare, fleeting, and unforgettable. The Jaco isn't just a bird. It's a feathered guardian of St. Lucia's environmental pride. Its survival story has inspired generations of St. Lucians to care for their forests and protect their biodiversity. In every rustle of rainforest leaves and echo of jungle calls, the parrot reminds you, this island is wild, proud, and worth preserving. Fact 5. The Island of Flowers, St. Lucia's Floral Societies. In St. Lucia, the Battle of the Blooms is not just about gardens. It's a centuries-old cultural rivalry that touches nearly every household. The island is home to two unique and colorful societies, Laureates, representing the rose, and La Maguette, representing the marguerite. These aren't just flower clubs. They're deeply rooted folk traditions that blend African heritage, colonial history, and theatrical flair. Every St. Lucian is unofficially part of one side or the other, and the rivalry is all in good fun, but taken very seriously. Each year, the societies throw massive street festivals. Laureates celebrates on the 30th of August, and La Maguette on the 17th of October. During these events, entire villages transform into seas of red or purple. Locals dress in elaborate floral costumes, play live folk music, and parade symbolic characters like kings, queens, policemen, and judges through the streets. The energy is electric, like a Creole carnival infused with storytelling and pageantry. The songs, dances, and drama all reflect community values and social roles passed down through generations. Even in modern times, children are taught the songs of their flower society in school. These festivals are not just about petals. They're about identity, unity, and the island's creative spirit in full bloom. In St. Lucia, flowers speak loudly, and the whole island listens. Fact 6. Green fig and saltfish, a dish of history and heart. St. Lucia's national dish may raise eyebrows at first. Green fig and saltfish sounds like an odd combination, especially when you learn that the so-called green figs are actually unripe bananas. But in this island nation, it's more than a plate of food. It's a story of survival, culture, and culinary creativity. This humble dish is a flavorful mix of boiled green bananas and flaked salted cod, sautéed with onions, sweet peppers, garlic, thyme, and a hint of hot pepper for a Creole kick. TCA's origins trace back to the days of colonial slavery, when enslaved Africans were given salted cod shipped from Canada and paired it with the most abundant local starch, bananas. Over time, the dish evolved, blending African, French, and Caribbean techniques into something uniquely St. Lucian. The green bananas are starchy and mild, acting like potatoes, while the saltfish provides a savory umami punch that balances the dish. Today, it's a weekend favorite across the island, often served with sliced avocado, cucumber salad, or even a drizzle of coconut milk sauce. Locals love it for breakfast, brunch, or during holidays and festivals. It's hearty, healthy, and packed with meaning. Eating green fig and saltfish isn't just a meal. It's participating in St. Lucia's living heritage, one delicious bite at a time. Fact 7. A flag that speaks in symbols. St. Lucia's national flag isn't just a decorative banner. It's a layered masterpiece of meaning that captures the very essence of the island. At first glance, it's striking. A sky blue field with 3 triangles stacked in the center. But each element tells a powerful story. The blue represents the surrounding waters, the calm Caribbean Sea to the west, and the wilder Atlantic Ocean to the east. Together, they embrace the island and sustain its life and beauty. The golden triangle in the middle stands for the radiant tropical sun, a symbol of prosperity and hope. It also echoes the strength and light of the people. Behind it rise 2 sharp black and white triangles representing the iconic Pitons, St. Lucia's twin volcanic peaks. The black symbolizes the African heritage of the population, while the white signifies European influence. Their coexistence in one symbol speaks to the harmony and cultural blend that define the nation. Adopted in the year 1967 and refined when St. Lucia gained full independence in 1979, the flag is both modern and deeply traditional. It tells a story of geography, identity, unity, and ambition, all with colors and shapes. It's more than cloth, it's a visual anthem of pride. When a St. Lucian sees their flag waving, they don't just see a symbol, they see home. Fact 8: 2 Nobel laureates from one tiny island. It's hard to believe that an island with fewer than 200,000 people has produced not 1, but 2 Nobel Prize winners. But St. Lucia has done just that. This small Caribbean nation holds the rare honor of having the highest number of Nobel laureates per capita in the world. The first was Sir Arthur Lewis, who received the Nobel Prize in Economics in the year 1979 for his pioneering work on economic development in poor countries. His models on labor and productivity changed how the world approached global inequality, and his ideas still influence policy today. Just over a decade later, in the year 1992, the literary world recognized St. Lucia again when poet and playwright Derek Walcott was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. Born in Castries, Walcott captured the Caribbean soul in his writing, its beauty, pain, and colonial scars, often drawing on local folklore and Homeric tradition. His epic poem Omeros is considered a masterpiece of post-colonial literature. 2 men, 2 different fields, 1 tiny island. Their achievements are celebrated annually on January 23rd, known locally as Nobel Laureates Day. It's a day of pride and poetry, lectures and reflection. St. Lucia's laureates prove that greatness doesn't require a massive population, just brilliance, vision, and a voice loud enough to echo across oceans. Fact 9: Julien Alfred, St. Lucia's golden girl. For a nation that had long dreamed of Olympic glory, the Paris Games of 2024 became a historic turning point. Julien Alfred, a powerhouse sprinter from the island's heartland, blazed down the track in the women's 100-meter final and crossed the finish line first. Her time, 10.72 seconds. With that, she delivered St. Lucia its first ever Olympic medal. And it wasn't just any medal, it was gold. Julien's win wasn't a fluke. She had been quietly climbing the international ranks for years, making waves at the collegiate level in the United States and breaking records across multiple sprint events. But on that golden evening in Paris, she became a national hero. Dressed in St. Lucia's vibrant colors, she raised her arms and let out a roar, the Pitons practically bursting with pride back home. Her name trended worldwide, and suddenly St. Lucia, a country better known for beaches and rainforests, was on the map for athletics. Back home, streets filled with cheers, parades were planned, and young girls began tying their hair like Julien's, dreaming of speed. In one breathtaking sprint, Alfred didn't just win a race, she rewrote her country's sporting destiny. For St. Lucia, her gold medal wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. Fact 10: Daren Sammy, the cricket king of St. Lucia. Cricket isn't just a sport in the Caribbean, it's a passion, a legacy, and sometimes a revolution. And in St. Lucia, no cricketer embodies that spirit more than Daren Sammy. Born in the small village of Mikoud, Sammy rose through the local leagues with sheer grit and unshakable confidence. In the year 2007, he made history by becoming the first St. Lucian ever selected to play for the West Indies Test team. On his debut, he stunned the world by taking 6 wickets, second-best debut figures in the team's history. But that was just the beginning. Sammy went on to captain the West Indies in the shortest format of the game and led them to 2 monumental T20 World Cup victories in the years 2012 and 2016. Under his leadership, St. Lucia became synonymous with Caribbean cricket pride. The Beausejour Cricket Ground, located near Gros Islet, was renamed the Daren Sammy Cricket Ground, an honor rarely given to a living athlete. Sammy's charisma, courage, and connection to fans turned him into more than a sportsman. He became a symbol of possibility. Today, kids across the island dream of bowling like Daren, and cricket matches still bring communities together like few other events. His legacy isn't just written in runs and wickets, it's stamped in the soul of St. Lucia. Fact 11. Mount Gimie, the wild crown of St. Lucia. While the famous Pitons dominate the postcards, it's Mount Gimie that silently watches over St. Lucia from the shadows. Rising to about 3,145 feet, this is the highest point on the island, an ancient volcanic giant cloaked in mist and mystery. Nestled in the island's lush central interior, Mount Gimie isn't just a peak, it's the soul of St. Lucia's rainforest. Unlike the coastal resorts and sunny beaches, this region feels primal, untouched, and sacred. Here, rainfall is abundant, over 150 inches per year, feeding dense jungle that bursts with life. Orchids cling to mossy branches, tree ferns reach skyward like green umbrellas, waterfalls tumble down ravines, and hidden creeks wind through canopies alive with the croaks of frogs and the chatter of parrots. Climbing Mount Gimie is not a casual hike. It's a true wilderness trek, requiring stamina and a guide who knows the terrain. But those who make the journey are rewarded with sweeping views of the island's volcanic spine, stretching all the way to the Pitons and beyond. Mount Gimie reminds everyone that St. Lucia isn't just a place to relax. It's a place to explore, sweat, breathe deeply, and reconnect with Earth at its most raw and majestic. It's not just a summit, it's the island's untamed crown. Fact 12. Cocoa Gold, St. Lucia's sweetest export. Hidden among the emerald hills of St. Lucia grows one of its most prized treasures. Not gemstones or spices, but cocoa. Not just any cocoa either. This island is one of only a few dozen regions in the world officially recognized for producing fine or flavor cocoa, a premium grade used in luxury chocolates. While other countries mass-produce beans for industrial bars, St. Lucia's cocoa tells a story in every bite, with fruity floral notes layered into each velvety square. On small hillside plantations, cacao pods sprout straight from tree trunks like alien fruit. When ripe, they're split open to reveal rows of pale, sticky beans, which are fermented in wooden boxes and sun-dried on open racks. The process is old-school, artisanal, and hands-on. Many family farms have been cultivating cocoa for generations, and today a new wave of chocolate makers is putting St. Lucia on the global gourmet map. Their handcrafted bars have won awards for purity and bold Caribbean flavor. Visitors can tour these estates, watching the entire bean-to-bar process unfold, from cracking pods under banana trees to tasting rich hot chocolate brewed with cinnamon and nutmeg. For St. Lucia, cocoa isn't just a crop. It's heritage, tourism, and export rolled into one delicious legacy. And yes, it tastes as good as it sounds. Fact 13. The St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival, Island Rhythms Under the Stars. Once a year, the quiet beaches and verdant hills of St. Lucia pulse with music, color, and creativity as the island transforms into a stage for one of the Caribbean's most celebrated events, the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. Launched in the year 1992, the festival began as a pure jazz event, but quickly blossomed into a dazzling showcase of global sound, from soul and funk to reggae, calypso, and R&B. It's no exaggeration to say that for 2 weeks each May, St. Lucia becomes a living, breathing concert hall. World-famous artists like Amy Winehouse, Lauryn Hill, and Herbie Hancock have performed under the open skies of Pigeon Island National Park, with the Pitons watching silently from the distance. The warm air fills with saxophone solos, steel pan beats, and the roar of thousands of music lovers swaying barefoot on the grass. But it's not just about the music. In 2013, the festival officially added arts to its name, expanding into fashion shows, street theater, painting exhibitions, and dance performances all over the island. From castries to Soufrière, creative energy spills into every alley, beach, and bar. Local artisans sell their wares. Chefs serve spicy Creole cuisine, And everywhere you turn, there's rhythm. It's not just a festival. It's St. Lucia showing off its heart, soul, and unmatched Caribbean flair. Fact 14. St. Lucia, the only country named after a woman. Among the nearly 200 countries in the world, only one bears the name of a historical woman, St. Lucia. It's a detail that slips past most globes and maps, but it carries powerful meaning. The island was named by early French colonists who, according to legend, first sighted it on December 13th, the feast day of St. Lucy of Syracuse. St. Lucy was a Christian martyr known as the patron saint of the blind, and while she never set foot in the Caribbean, her legacy became forever tied to this emerald island. No other nation on Earth is named directly after a real female historical figure. Some are named for queens, some for mythological goddesses, but St. Lucia stands alone. It's a distinction that adds a layer of depth to the island's already rich character. Bold, radiant, and resilient, much like the woman it honors. The name has remained through centuries of colonial tug-of-war between the French and British, changing hands 14 times before St. Lucia finally gained full independence in the year 1979. Today, the name is a source of national pride, especially for women across the island. It speaks to beauty, endurance, and a fiercely unique identity. When you say St. Lucia, you're not just naming a place. You're invoking a legacy unlike any other on the planet. Fact 15. A rainforest island in the Caribbean sun. St. Lucia may be famous for its sun-kissed beaches and crystal-clear waters, but its true natural magic lies inland, where dense rainforests climb steep hills and clouds roll in like silent waves. Thanks to its location in the path of the northeast trade winds, St. Lucia enjoys a humid tropical climate that nourishes one of the most lush and vibrant ecosystems in the Caribbean. The coastlines may receive gentle breezes and occasional showers, but in the mountainous interior, it's a different story. Up to 150 inches of rain falls each year, feeding a jungle that is alive in every direction. This isn't the dry scrub of some islands. St. Lucia's rainforest is an emerald cathedral. Giant ferns fan out like parasols, vines wrap around ancient trees, and the soundscape is filled with bird calls, frogs, and the rustle of unseen creatures. Waterfalls plunge down rock faces, hidden pools form in mossy glades, and mist hugs the treetops even as the lowlands bask in golden sunlight. The air smells of earth, fruit, and life itself. This richness isn't just scenic, it's essential. The forest helps regulate water, prevent erosion, and support biodiversity, including rare orchids and endangered parrots. For visitors, it offers trails, zip lines, and pure immersion in untamed beauty. St. Lucia doesn't just sit under the sun, it flourishes in nature's arms. Living in St. Lucia, paradise has its price tag. Living in St. Lucia offers a dreamy backdrop of lush hills, volcanic beaches, and easygoing island life. But behind the postcard lies a practical reality every expat or traveler should know. Daily life here is affordable by Western standards, yet not exactly cheap. A modest lifestyle in a rural area can cost around $1,200 per month, while a comfortable middle-class life near the coast or in Castries might require closer to $2,000 monthly. Imported goods, especially groceries and electronics, tend to be pricey due to high import taxes. For example, a gallon of milk may cost about $6, a dozen eggs around $4, and a basic dinner for two at a casual restaurant will easily reach $35. Rent varies widely. A one-bedroom apartment outside the city may cost $500 to $700, while ocean view properties or tourist hotspots can exceed $1,500 monthly. Utilities are moderate but spiked by electricity costs, especially with air conditioning. Internet is reliable in towns, averaging around $50 per month for a standard plan. Job opportunities for foreigners are limited, mainly in tourism, hospitality, diving instruction, and remote digital work. Work permits are required and locals are prioritized unless the skill is specialized. Residency is possible through investment, long-term stays, or marriage. English is the official language, simplifying integration, and St. Lucians are generally welcoming, especially in smaller communities. Healthcare is basic but improving. Private clinics exist, and expats often fly to Martinique or the US for complex care. Living in St. Lucia is about balance. Beauty comes with some trade-offs. It's not for everyone, but for the right kind of adventurer or retiree, this island can offer a truly rewarding, sun-drenched life. If you enjoyed discovering the hidden wonders of St. Lucia, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Make sure to subscribe to Andy Explores the World for more real fact-based travel documentaries just like this one. Got a favorite fact or a question about life on the island? Drop it in the comments. I read and reply to as many as I can. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep exploring the world with open eyes and an open heart.